Hello again, this is Lino Tadros, and in this part 2 of our journey with large reasoning models, we're going to move from GitHub, the free marketplace, to be able to use that, and we're going to start using Azure AI Foundry. Let's go ahead and take a look what's happening in there. First, we're going to start from probably the portal.azure.com, to create all the necessary Azure AI Foundry. And there is even an easier way. So I can definitely go here to the portal. I'm going to say create a brand new resource group. And inside of that resource group, I can tell it I would like to create an Azure AI Foundry projects, and that will create a hub for us and all that. Or there is an easier way. If you just go to ai.azure.com and log into your account. And once you log into the account, we can actually go ahead and start creating a brand new project straight from here. It could be an Azure AI Foundry resource, which is recommended if you'd like to create an application. Or you can just go ahead and create an AI hub resource where you would be able to add projects, we'll be able to add resources by yourself. I'm going to start with the AI hub resource. Once I create one of those, you can always go back to the resource group in the Azure portal, and you will notice that by creating this resource inside of Azure AI Foundry, you'll end up getting a hub, a resource, even a storage account, a key vault. A lot of other things will be created for you automatically to properly create a project inside of AI Foundry. So I'm going to say next, and here we'll give it a name. We'll call it, for instance, Tahubu AI. And in here we'll say rename the hub, because there is a project and there is the hub. And in here we'll call it Tahubu Hub. There you go. We'll say validating that has not been taken. And then even under the advanced option in here, you can take a look and you will notice that it will go under the correct subscription. It will go into a resource group called RG Tahubu AI. That's great. If you don't like that name, you can create another resource group if you want. And I'm going to end up using the East US2 region to do that. There are multiple regions that you can use that will work for you, whether you're in Europe, the Far East, Australia, or in the United States. I'm going to say create. And that usually takes about maybe a minute, minute and a half. So I'll come back after the hub and the project had been created. And indeed, after a couple of minutes, it will go straight to my project. Notice this is a project called Tahubu AI right there. And I will have my API key. And the important part is the included capabilities. There are 3 different tabs in here. There is the Azure AI Inference. There is the Azure AI Services, and they will have different endpoints. Remember, if you ever want to go against the Azure OpenAI itself, you need to click on the middle one, and this is your correct Azure OpenAI endpoint, that if you're writing code, whether in Python or JavaScript, or you're doing it in C#, this is the correct endpoint that you need to hit to mimic your Azure OpenAI. Sounds good? Now let's take a look at the left side of the screen in the sidebar. We have a model catalog. You'll notice in the previous video I showed you there is maybe 20 or 30 different models available in GitHub for free for you to play around with. But look at the number here on the right side. And this is as of the summer of 2025. We have 11,091 models that you could choose from. And they're not only Azure OpenAI or OpenAI based, they are from all over the place. So we have DeepSeek, we have the DeepSeek model that actually have been fine-tuned by Microsoft. We have Grok 3 and Grok 3 Mini. We have even the model router, which will have a completely different video later on to show you how cool that is, to be able to use a model that will choose the best model for you for the job that you're asking for. Mistral from Cohere, from Phi. I mean, you name it. You can click on next here 100 times till you go through the 11,000 different models to choose from. But they're all available for you in Azure AI Foundry. And you can actually definitely try them out. If you'd like to click on one of them, let's say, for instance, I want to see what this DeepSeek R10528. 0528 means it was trained as of May 28th, for instance. So I'm going to click on that. You'll get a lot more information about that specific model. So you'll be able to see, click on more here to see a little bit more about how it was trained, when it was trained, the percentage of quality. All of these things are available for you, even the supported languages, and whether it supports images and videos and audio. This one is text only, and so far, so far you can actually see a lot of this stuff. All right, let me go back a little bit in here, and let's take a look, for instance, at one that we know coming in from Microsoft. Let's say the O4 Mini. O4 Mini is a reasoning model, for instance. I want to find out what kind of capabilities that this O4 Mini has. So I can read a lot of information about the API support, the reasoning summary, the multimodality. There's a lot of things. And it was trained as of April 16th, 2025. All the different deployments in Azure that you can actually use. Also on the right side, very important, I can see actually the benchmarks regarding the AI quality is set to 0.89 quality index, which is pretty good. And also the estimation per 1 million token is 1.93 United States dollars. So you can actually see the pricing and go deeper into how the whole pricing works. So if let me click this really quickly. So I can keep going down in here. I'll have a lot more information, whether it's about the O3 model for reasoning, the O4 Mini that we are using right now. You will notice the one from April 16th, the pricing per 1 million token is 110. The cash input is 28 cents. The output is 440. And if you go down, you see the regular generic models like 4.1. Some of them can be pretty expensive for the output, but if you use the Mini or the Nano, it's much, much cheaper to do. But I'm going to focus in these videos on the reasoning models themselves. All right, let's go back to the O4 Mini in here, inside of the Azure AI Foundry. Now that we've read a lot of information about it, what it provides, what is the difference between the model variants from O4 Mini to O3 to O3 Mini, all this information is at your fingertips inside of there. So now the only thing left for us to do is to go try it out to see how it works. So I'm going to click on the playgrounds. You'll have a lot of different playgrounds. You have some for chat, for video, for images, for audio, a lot of different things that you can try out. I'm going to go with the chat playground. We'll say try that. And you'll notice there are no different models that have been deployed yet. So before we even get to the playground, maybe it's a good idea to go to the My Assets here at the left side and choose some models to be deployed. You can also deploy them directly from here. I usually like to deploy my models first from one place. So I'm going to say models and endpoint is going to be completely empty. I'm going to say, let's deploy a base model. And you will have access to the 11,000 plus different models available for you in here. So I'm going to go to the O4 Mini right there. Let's click on that. You will see all the information here again. I will confirm. And now I'm going to use the global standard deployment. And I'm going to click on customize here for a second. I just want to make sure, yes, that's the model version that I want. This is the AI resource that I'm interested in. I'm even going to give it a little bit more oomph a little bit. Let's move it a little bit to the right side here for the 708,000 tokens per minute rate limit. And I'm going to say deploy. All right. And that will hopefully take only a few seconds. And there it is. It is done. And one of the things that I love about the Azure AI Foundry is that now that it's deployed, I can open it in the playground directly or click on playground. Both of them will do the same thing, will allow me to use that model in the playground. I have my endpoint right there. I have my API key that I can use if I'm writing code. All the information about my deployment info in here, the name, the deployment type, when it was created, the rate limit is 708,000 tokens per minute. All of these things are available for me. On the right side, amazingly enough, you can choose to actually use this with Python, with JavaScript, REST APIs, Java or C#. I'm going to leave it with Python. And all the code that you will need is written right for you. You can copy and paste that into Visual Studio Code and you will be able to run that. The only thing you will need to remember is your endpoint and the API key that you'll be using. And even those have been moved directly into the code, so you don't even have to worry about that. Just the API key will need to copy and paste it from here. So it makes it much, much easier. Okay, let's open it up in the playground and take a look at how we can actually use that. I'm going to bring this down. There we go. Just refresh the page. And you'll notice all the models that you have deployed will be in here. I only deployed one so far, the O4 Mini. It's available right here. Now I can actually change, of course, my system prompt. I'm going to leave it as you are an AI assistant that helps people find information that's good enough for me. And then I can ask my questions. You can even get some help if you don't feel like coming up with a really nice question. They will give you actually some poetry generation or marketing slogan or recipe creation. Or if you have your own, you can definitely put it right there if you would like as well. All right, like we did also with the GitHub in the previous video, let's go ahead and ask the same question. Which movie has the most Oscars? Notice there is 200,000 tokens to be sent if you would like. So the limit are much, much greater. We'll say go for it. And notice at the bottom and here, there is this button that shows that it's actually in the process of thinking. And now it's done. So the answer will come back and it will show you 79 different tokens were used for that, which is great. I can actually also open up the parameters here on the left side. And you will notice there are two things that are extremely important to understand. One of them is the max completion tokens, because there are hidden tokens behind the scene that you do not see. So be careful with that as well. And also the reasoning effort. How much do you want the system to go back and forth? There is low, medium, and high. As you can see for this one, the O4 Mini, the default is high, but you can change it. My recommendation for you is that when you are trying to test a model, based on maybe you're in the industry of financial services or healthcare or manufacturing, try with all of them, because of course high will cost more money because there is more thinking that will be taken. Also, the maximum tokens is not only the output, it's also the reasoning thinking, the reasoning tokens that were used in the middle that are hidden from you. All right, so I'm going to set it to 100,000. I can go down to 40,000, 20,000 and see which ones actually do not matter. Maybe after 40,000, it didn't matter. I always was getting the correct answer anyway. So maybe you want to limit the amount of tokens that will be used, not only for the output, but also for the thinking, for the reasoning tokens that are being used in the middle. Very, very important to understand that. Also for the generated summary, you can actually turn it off, or you can say, I want a detailed summary of how come you came up with that answer for me at the end as well, which could be very, very useful as well. All right, let's give it another question that we gave the GitHub one as well. We'll say how many P's are in the word hippopotamus, and we'll say go, and the system will think about it. We'll try to understand behind the scene how everything is done, and the answer is correct. There are 3. What happens if I change this to low? Will it affect anything? I'm bringing this down to like 14,000 instead of 100,000, and I'm gonna ask the same question again. Let's give it a second here. It did not make a difference. That gives us a lot of information regarding save your time, save your money. Don't make it take too long, multiple seconds, sometimes 10, 20, 30 seconds to come back after all the going back and forth for the reasoning effort being high. And also the maximum completion tokens, I can limit that. That's including the output and the thinking tokens in the middle as well. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. It gives you a quick introduction into how to use reasoning models inside of the Azure AI Foundry before you even deploy anything or write any code, just in the playground, what it can do for you, how you can change the parameters, how you can change the system prompt, and go from there. If you like the video, please like and subscribe, and I look forward to the next video. My next video will be about doing something amazing with the O4 Mini to be able to understand and comprehend and think about your itinerary based on an image. So let's go ahead and do that.